Okay.
Are we on?
We're recording.
Okay. All right. Hi, folks. My name is Todd Levine.
Let me start the meeting
Oh,
first,
sorry.
all right? It's okay. Okay, Jim. Yeah, this is Marty Lindmeyer with the Board of Selectmen for the special meeting on 12 April 2024 at 3 p.m. At the Swift House. Meeting with the Board of Selectmen, Dan Charity, and the SHPO folks.
Yep, Todd Levine. Yep.
We heard him.
Marina Wisniewski.
Okay, that's all that's here right now. So, we're going to turn it over to you guys. And Todd, you can start right
Yeah, so I mean, we were just chatting a little bit about ADA, right? And what the opportunities are and options are and what a path forward could be. And, you know, there's under the state building code there's the ability, well, there's two things. One is we have a historic building, right? So it's not a requirement for it to be ADA compatible in its entirety for it to be open to the public. We can have one room open, and we can put a ramp, for instance, and we haven't gone through the building, and we'll look at, you know, what the options, the least intrusive option for ADA could be. I mean, even right here, we could see that, you know, you're not going to get the entire first floor ADA unless you're going to have multiple entry points and safety features. But that all aside, I mean, there's the ability through the building code to get, you know, modification from, you know, the state building official. So we can certainly have discussion with the building official about at least opening this up. We can we can talk to.
Can I interrupt you
Yeah.
a second? We're already going through a Silver Petrocelli architects
Right.
to do all that.
Okay, good.
So we really are looking for your perspective on the ability or the potential for this building to be registered with
Okay.
you all. So that's
Oh,
what
okay.
we're
Well,
looking
then-
so
And then
that's-
eventually, hopefully qualify for grants, for state.
yeah, for sure.
SHPO
Right.
grants.
Yeah.
So, as I was talking with Glenn, you know, you guys are going through that, and like we said, it would have been helpful to be able to meet with Silver Petrocelli when they were here, but you know, They have not come yet?
They have come.
Oh, they have
We missed,
come.
yeah, we did
But
yesterday. you
via
guys
Zoom.
did-
We've been
they came
doing
in today.
hybrid Zoom meetings with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what would be helpful for us, especially when we're looking at designating historic buildings, is we also want to ensure that the type of work that you would be proposing would not adversely impact historic buildings, but especially the historic building. And the types of modifications Todd is discussing is for buildings that are designated. So as I had some discussions with Glenn, you know, I'm comfortable with, you know, state register. Jenny Schofield, our National Register Coordinator, thinks that there's actually a pretty comfortable chance that it would be eligible for the National Register.
Mhm.
So, you know, that's one thing we can talk about while we walk around. As far as grants, we can talk about that after we do the tour. Our office does offer planning grants and capital grants. Our capital grants is only a single fund right now, which is yearly. So as far as planning out, that would be, you know, we can talk about timelines and things like that. And I think I've given Glenn all the links for that. But I think what would be important here is to walk through the building, have discussions about really what are your goals for bringing this building back into service, and then how our services can dovetail with that.
Okay. Well, right now we're considering potential use of this building for organizations and groups associated with the town. The area here, we know that some with the ADA compliant things that we've done through Silver Petrocelli, that there's a limit on the number of people we have based on the number of bathrooms and exits and ramps and so on. So we are looking at a series of plans. We just met with them yesterday for revision on some ADA compliant costs in building associations and so on. And we're meeting again next week to kind of say this is how we'd like to approach doing that and approving as a board what they've submitted to us, so that we can take it in and then do the back and forth. So we're kind of chicken and egg a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
sometime with you guys, but also, you know, taking it to the town and seeing, you know, what they think of it as well. I guess the question that I have, anyway, to start off, and any questions anybody has, please jump in, is, you know, my understanding of historical buildings, generally anything that would disturb the outside or the original structure of the building that would make it a historic building, one you preserve. That was, you know, be of interest to make sure that it didn't happen, or at least it happened within the right kind of, I think as you're saying, some of the right kind of building codes and so on that could be adjusted or modified to handle any changes to the building. But I guess part of the concern I have is what's internal versus what's external. If there's no plans whatever to change anything externally, with the potential of a second floor covered walkway that would be attached to the back of the building to access second floor, because right now it's kind of tough stairways. And you'll see as you walk around, but
Gotcha.
in
so-
general.
So, it depends on what you want to do,
Mhm.
right? So generally, we don't want to destroy stored fabric, but, there, sometimes, for ADA compatibility, you have to, break a couple of eggs and make an omelet. So, there is some negotiation on how far you can push that. In our office, kind of will, it's always good to have, the architect here, so we can ask those questions of, what are you thinking? Right, where are you looking at putting the ramp? What door did you want to use? Probably not gonna be the front, because
No.
we're not getting into, I think, you're looking probably to use this side of the building as your,
We've had
Can
a
you-
couple of options suggested
right,
to us
that's what
by
we're
the
trying to-
architect. One was on this side, which would have involved a long ramp and modifying the steps in the entrance. And then he came back to us, because we had thought better to go in the back of the building.
Mhm,
And then you can grade and not have to have as long a ramp,
mhm.
and put one ADA parking space where the cars are there.
Yep.
And come around here. And they had suggested coming in, would you go over there? Coming into the next room.
Yeah,
over
let's,
here.
let's walk over there.
Yeah.
It'll be easier to see.
We're not really proposing to change the use of the building. It has been used. It's interesting.
It might have something to do with their signs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the door they're proposing as the main access point ADA.
Okay.
And they actually have, they think the grade is, it would be like the 1 in 20 type grade where you don't actually need handrails.
Do you mind?
Is it okay to open? Big sign.
See what we can see.
Probably with all this rain, the door swelled.
I don't think this door has been used or opened.
Yeah, we're gonna avoid breaking
We'll-
the.
Yeah,
we'll
you
walk
see it from
around
the
outside.
outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go the other way.
Provide extra umbrella.
Yeah.
And there is another door, there's another possibility in that other room we're in, there's a door into there, so that is an option as well. And they did sort of sketch that out, they didn't actually give us those drawings.
Okay, yeah, so you guys don't have, right now there's just discussions of concept, there's no drawings yet?
Oh, yeah, we have some drawings.
You have
We're going back and forth.
We
just
don't
had
have
discussion
approved.
Hi.
You don't have approved drawings, okay.
Approved by us.
Approved by you, okay.
They
So-
have made a couple of proposals and some changes. They've left it with us so that we could contemplate, have a meeting and decide among us what we think are the best options. And
So-
then, of course,
You guys know
we-
Marge Smith?
and-
No, hi, Marge.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How
Topic
you
of
doing? Marge is our town historian, whose office this used to be.
Yeah.
This is now occupied by.
So my first question really is what side of the building do you really want to highlight for community use? Is it this side or that side? Because you can do, and when we look at ADA compatibility, we want to, as best as we can without destroying stored fabric, have the visitor, whether you're ADA or not, have the same experience.
Yeah.
Right, so the front door is not usually a good option, but we do have a main side door here on this side, right? But here you're coming in from the back, which we try to avoid if we can. And we
he
actually
talked
have
to
an
us about that.
opportunity with that side to come into, a significant, maybe not the primary, but a secondary entry instead of a rear entry.
That involves a lot of visible ramps.
But there's other options besides ramps too. I mean, there's lulas, there's little things you can do besides ramps.
That's
It's a little lift.
It's a small
lift.
limit.
Yeah. So I mean, there's options that you can do, and Petroselli should know. And I would ask them to, provide you with all the options of which. And again, it depends on which side you want to use, and which is more historic, which has, what the other side has 3 fireplaces. That's kind of nice.
One of the things that would be helpful for you to know, this wall here has,
This wall.
this was not original to the building.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be an opening here Yeah,
That's not quite true.
okay,
The opening was right where it is.
right.
It went straight through, there was a door comparable to this on the other side of this little space, and that was a kitchen.
Okay.
This house is, we think, 3 different buildings that were put together. This may be the most recent out of all of them, but we've never been able to figure that out. We've had a lot of people really digging into it, but
So what's your best guess?
early 1800s at least for the 2 big rooms that are out there. This may be not long after that, but we're not sure.
Okay.
But isn't there some belief that this went back to the 1700s?
thought it
Looking at
was-
looking at all the architectural evidence,
Mhm.
maybe 1801, 18, you might stretch it back to 1799, but it's not the oldest house that the town has a reputation of its being. But I've
Mhm.
had several people look at it, and they all seem to agree around 1800, 1805.
So you said 3 different.
There were 3 different buildings that we don't know when or by whom, but it was all the Swift family that owned it, and the deeds just don't explain enough. I've
Sure.
taken it all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, I believe it.
Um,
So, but is there any change in construction technique, for instance, in the rafters for the roof, from
No.
one section to the next?
No, we can go up in the attic and look. In fact, we can see where 2 of the buildings were joined together at one point up in the attic.
Yeah.
I think I sent you, Marina. I'm Marge, by the way. Nice to meet you. Some photos of that, and that it's that the attic is amazing. It's old.
So
Yeah.
the only thing I wanted to point out about this is that originally there was an opening here.
Mhm.
And we had proposed and talked to the architect about opening it again.
To go back on.
For,
the-
yeah, so that if you came in here, you could get to that room.
With a change of grade. Could you have a change of grade over here on the other side? This room you can get into, but you mean the other side or just right here?
The room that we just came from.
Like
Right.
connect, make it like a connecting hallway.
Right, but
Yeah.
it would be a change of grade.
Mm.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good, that gives you access to both.
It's funny how you come into these buildings and you don't really pay attention to the grade aspects. This is the basement.
Oh, I see. That also makes sense. I'm sorry, we'll wait for everyone, but. No, but that makes sense.
We just screwed the wall.
Tapping up here. No taps.
We should all stay together.
We should all stay together.
No, I mean, they should come out here. What do you guys want? Do you want to do the basement next, or would you rather go up and see the upstairs?
Okay.
Side porch there, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it would be helpful to maybe walk to the first floor first, go into the basement, because there's an access over here from the basement. That would be helpful, and then we can go to the second floor, then the attic.
Sure.
Okay? And then we can just do, because while we're waiting for the rain to stop, although it has
It's
stopped,
almost stopped.
we may want to go outside.
Yeah,
first.
really.
Been a temporary room.
Listen, we may want to go outside first in case it starts raining.
I looked at the radar, I don't.
We're good? Okay.
I think we've got.
All right.
Oh, it has stopped. Wow. That's a storage.
That was an old staircase to the
Yes,
second
that was what I.
Yeah, yeah.
I was surprised that there were 5.
Don't even get me started.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. So this was one of the original houses here.
Mhm.
That was another one there.
Yeah.
And then there's a smaller room in the very, very back that we think is also part of this condensing that the Swift family did.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is where the door was to get into where we just were.
Okay.
And this is another basement?
No, that's storage. Oh, this, yeah. You know, you see this basement? Okay, we did that. We're not sure how old this little storage area is. Could have been put on fairly early on.
Wide floorboards.
Yeah, it's old. There's
Yeah.
no question about that.
No, that-
It's not a late, this floor clearly put in when
Yeah.
the town
Yeah.
redid the house in the 70s.
And that's it just from this side, right? This is the end of the house?
No, it keeps going.
Oh,
This,
There's an unheated room back here.
last time I tried to have this leg, it didn't work. Let's see if that one does go. And this is an amazing old staircase up here, we're trying to get this door shut. Once you open it, but we'll go upstairs to where that is.
Oh, and it's,
This room has such great light,
I love this little
even on a rainy day.
And this is old too. It was, when I was a kid, this was really, really run down and clearly had to be redone. But Mason and Jeffrey both said the framing of this part is old. And it's got really interesting, both sides of this fireplace have something that we've never been able to figure out. Nobody's ever come in and said, oh, I know what that is. It's fallen out on this side. But on both sides, there are these two openings on either side of a central supporting brick. It's bigger on the other side.
And it goes all the way through.
I don't know, it's been, the chimney has just crumbled so much.
no, I don't think it does.
I don't think it goes through. It maybe, but, the other fireplace is larger. And I think,
So you can see there in the other place, there are
Yeah.
two rocks that go in that are removable.
That's
There's a lot of
I think it leads up to like a half.
debris.
You know, we do this and this is, what? Okay, I'm just checking. So this is, and this is a cold storage or this is the exterior?
this is,
Exterior. I think it's better to go up the other stairs because the door that connects them is locked from this side.
Not from the side. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
take a look
yeah,
at it.
I did want to comment
Yeah.
here.
I mean, we can walk through from the other side. See it all. Yeah.
Is there a light? Is there a light there? Or?
All
there
the
a
way you
light?
guys wanna go?
The windows.
There's a switch right there. God, there's so much cobwebs.
That light, they could fall right there.
It's all in there.
Yeah, yeah,
These are what we were
Oh, so
talking
you're
about.
there.
yeah.
And you know, this one fell out recently and there was a big rush of debris that fell out.
Very difficult to do. Marty.
It's like a secondary flue vent that could look like it's going on. Is there an angle to this? There's gotta be, so they probably
Well,
need an essential.
Yeah, this is obviously been closed up.
And it's a mild
It's a
steel
municipal
whistle.
building. Fire
Yeah,
service.
yeah.
No, but no, I mean, here it's not getting
Yeah, yeah.
Any thoughts about what that is?
Curious, isn't it?
It's a little, it's curious.
You ever seen it
It's
before?
I haven't, but I could see, we could do a little research. I mean, it looks like it's just a secondary flue for extra,
Could be.
looks like it converges.
Yeah. I just had
Um,
so
to
many
Jimmy.
people come in and look at that. I've asked everybody, and I'm thinking somebody's gonna come up with the answer.
Yeah, yeah, they're like, oh, that's all,
That,
blah, blah, blah. I
and then
don't
there's
know.
there's a carving over on the hearth on that other fireplace.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
showed
that's
them
what
that
you think.
earlier.
Yeah, I was thinking that that might be,
Metal in the wood stock or something?
I would think it might be for some level, my initial thought was something to connect to a brace for,
Oh, okay.
you know, a pot or
Yep,
something.
yep, could
Like, you
be.
know,
Could be,
brace
yep.
in here.
Yep. Cool.
And it could be something like
Okay.
that. I've seen other ones that are embedded into the stone, but I don't know about the method in which it was, because that looks so shallow.
It does.
Yeah.
No, this has
Usually you would
quirky
think it would be deeper,
mysteries here.
but there are mysteries here, which makes it fun.
Yeah. Love this house. It just, I had my office in here for, I think, 15 years.
So, yeah, all right, so you love it.
Just.
Yeah.
Just loved it. Not 15, maybe 12, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's a long time.
yeah, but you know, we're talking, 1800s, what's 3 years?
Yeah.
All right, let's go, to the basement first,
I figured might as well just go to the next one first. While we're here.
I always find more information in the attic. Marina usually finds more information in the foundation, so we both have our.
Oh, it's on. Watch the last step.
Light's not working.
You guys see much of this, Cheryl?
Oh, yeah, we see her all the time.
You're a big fellow.
I will.
I used to work for her too.
Oh, yeah?
More nuts there. Years and years. That's not good.
Yeah. So, everybody see that fireplace.
I just had the
And then
exterminator
for that fireplace.
today. But this is it.
Steel, stone, mortar foundation. You know what's weird? Is the ceiling height in the first floor. And the height here.
Well, we did, that. The town put in, put
Right.
this cement floor in.
Right, which means it was, unless they dug down,
They did that.
they did not, they just poured, right? So, yeah, so I mean, this is pretty, I mean, it's not significantly high.
The Swift family was tall, is it?
Maybe they were tall, yeah,
Measure Taylor's with you, find out.
yeah.
Just send them.
Oh, is she really? Oh, there's your money,
I asked the
you
people,
don't need the state, you just need to give,
do you
Taylor-
guys know Bill Hosley?
Oh, yeah.
Hosley is a rabid Swiftie, and he is not leaving me alone, Todd. He wants to
That
get her
is-
here, and I said, if she comes, she's gotta bring some money.
Yeah, that's what you want her for.
Yep, he will let me, he won't stop.
So with the Silver Petrocelli reports, there was a very large section about this whole system here, and the furnace. And if we were to change things upstairs, we'd have to have a whole new system. Just point that out.
Yeah.
So,
This is, slated on the capital plan
Yeah.
for replacement anyway, it's like
A couple years.
early
a
1980s.
couple of years, yeah.
What is it? Early 1980s, you said?
This is, I mean, the last, the first inspection, I think, was in 84, 85. And that would have been put in a year or two before that, probably. There's a lot of new insulation on the floor.
I can.
This says 07.
What?
I think it
Can you
says
read it?
07,
Well, that's,
but that's, could be, you know.
this,
Is there another one over there?
yeah.
What's that?
No, you can't even read. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first one I looked at, these have all been eaten by
I can.
the guys that lived here when we're not here. It's gone. It was
So he said
84, 85.
he turned into
Okay.
19
Can you hear me?
So 1800-ish is when it first appears on these.
Right.
Sure which of the,
This is the building.
I mean, no, I think there's a building that shows up there, it's been a long time since I've looked at it.
Is there a problem getting under it?
You got the right idea. Just crouch.
There's evidence of a house there, but it doesn't say how big.
Okay.
We know that two sons, I think, probably have their smaller houses very nearby, and then at some point that we cannot figure out, they join them together.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I'm having, so this is this space.
This is most likely the original. But I,
See, okay.
don't quote me on that. If you guys have a different instinct.
Well, no, it's not so much that. I
So, when we're looking at foundations, we're looking at changes in foundation stone, whether it's field stone or round stone or other
let's see.
kinds
So
of.
we have, so see how we.
Or mortar, not mortar.
Right.
The
Right.
older we go, the more likely you have originally not mortared, and there would be, obviously people mortar it over time because they think that they're gonna keep the moisture out. I'm sorry, Renee.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I have no answer.
Yeah.
Just,
So, I mean, do you see anything that makes you think of a change? Because I've seen some level of consistency, But I haven't gone over
Well,
it
that's
yet,
what I'm
so.
thinking. I see a level of consistency, and I'm wondering if this was actually when the houses were
Right,
joined,
open
that
it
there
up.
was, you know, there was such an alteration that this was, it's very tall.
That makes
It's very
sense.
tall.
So that this was all done
Yeah,
at
that's
once when they had joined them together. That's what I'm saying, because when you look at the chimney here, right?
Yeah.
We, sorry, excuse me, and watch the,
I know.
this is a crawl space.
I can. It says unmuted, but the
No.
first selected says it's muted.
Oh, no, not a mouse.
This is crawl space, and then here, which is where I feel like that maybe that was our
Can you hear me
entry
now?
into the basement.
Ah,
Maybe this was our entry into the basement.
These aren't connected either.
Yeah.
No, good eye. See, that's why she comes down here. I wanna see that. I'm looking at these.
Yeah, Todd has an expertise in timber framing, so you know he created the Connecticut Barn Survey.
Oh,
Survey
neat.
listed
That was-
thousands of barns.
that was
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah, that was a great, that was a fun project.
Really
So-
good.
Awesome project.
Oh, absolutely, we should.
I dropped the ball on.
Yeah, so, and then this is a crawl space, and then it turns right there.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at the floor doors here, and then also because you know if this is our chimney, right? It you know it's just like you feel like.
Right, maybe they just pulled it out.
But my question is how close were they? Why would you take a basement chimney stack if you were moving a house? So that's why I'm wondering, you know,
Well,
This
maybe
piece
that
of-
was the original.
I think.
but then we have this guy. So maybe this house, but it wouldn't have just been a crawl space because we're in Kent. There would have been a cellar.
Yeah.
It would not make any sense to construct a
Right.
house in the 18th century and not
Right.
have a cellar in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm just, you know,
So you think what's over there would be part of this original structure as well?
Well, I mean, I think that foundation wall over there is different, that's later. That's mortared in a
Right.
different way, the field stone is different. So that is not, but you can see here, it's dry right here, they just, you know, this is how I would expect,
This is
you know,
what,
if we're in the 18th century, the foundation looks out. It's on mortar right
where
there.
are we? Where's the,
Oh, here?
the door's
Uh-huh.
right here.
yeah, absolutely.
So
So-
this,
Now, let's see if we can feel it.
But they
that's all
have, it.
dirt.
yeah, right,
Here, so this is the original. Maybe they moved the house. Maybe they dug the cellar when they moved this piece in.
the problem is
Or
that
maybe they
they,
constructed the house
I,
here.
they may, and these may have been two separate, how big was this parcel in 1800?
Big.
Big.
Yeah.
So they may have said, we wanna go, move both houses here, and made the foundation at that point. Because the main block of the foundation is consistent all the way
Right
through.
here.
Usually
Yeah.
we would
This
see
is-
if there's
this
a move, they would have opened it up and we
And you'll
would
see
see
a
it.
punch through. You'll
Right,
usually see,
right.
you know, where they break through. Like so here, there, like there's a breakthrough here. So that's why my thought was that there had been some sort of entrance here.
Yeah,
This makes sense, that
This
this would
makes
be its own unit here,
yeah.
and then the others would be together, and that's what we've been trying to sort of figure out over
That's
the
the
years
Velcro
too.
door. Here.
Oh, this is the book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that's it right there.
That's
That's a, okay, so this is probably an original
Yeah.
there, because
Makes
this is,
total sense.
this is dry laid, this wasn't even
Right,
ordered
no,
when
I
they
think that's
filled
reasonable.
it.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's really cool, okay.
Still no good answers, but more questions, but,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's how it works. All right, let's peek upstairs. Upstairs.
Oh, don't thank me. I didn't give you
We don't have, yeah, maybe we come up with some.
Really good idea.
But this is all.
Well,
Yeah.
what we've been told, maybe it's not, but from the staircase, top of the staircase over here.
Can you hear me? For some reason, it will not let me
No, we
unmute.
don't know when this is gonna be.
Temporarily.
But, you know,
It's old.
Okay, the video plays on.
you know, we have, you know, later with Pearson too, but
First selectman's on here for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just so.
Okay. And the other thing too is the timbers are pretty consistent, and the connections are consistent on both sides, which again makes me think that they might have, yeah, but they're all hand hewn, and the connections for the joints, the mortise and tenons, are all pretty big and consistent in size. Well, actually, this one is not the same as the other.
No, it's like there's a dividing line right here. Isn't it? It's.
Did we do any stabilization in the 2008 renovation? 'Cause these look like they added later.
These were added with the cement.
This looks like, this, just looking at the beams, these are very different. Well, maybe
Yes.
not, yeah.
This is,
There.
this is all added.
Yeah. But they were probably trying to
Oh, those,
stabilize
yeah, I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
these, I'm talking
No,
about these.
up top, I
Yeah.
mean, these
Yeah.
look different from what's over there, but then there's that one huge one,
I mean, I would like to, measure the size of the mortises
yeah,
and see if they're
Yeah.
consistent on both sides,
yeah, yeah.
here and then over there, but anyway. I mean,
This is between these ones,
Yeah, I know.
so over here. And if you would, these are ready to do.
yeah, let's see if we have any clear font, evidence of that. Or second floor first.
Well, next time you see Hosley, tell him you've been in here, maybe just sick him on getting some of that.
Yeah.
I'm halfway serious. That's exactly it, I've got another.
interesting. I don't know, people listen, people really
You got a house stuff on
I've got a
this
friend
one,
in
kid.
town who was very willing to approach her. He just needs proof and
Maybe
positive.
we should get access to that.
Because Ted Hosley's is the way. I've known Hosley for a long time.
I think we want to go this way.
This one?
This way.
Yeah, Hosley wants to, he's proved that her direct great grandfather's buried in Warren, which was part of it. Okay. Reuben and
So our main stair.
just yesterday, on the there was another friend of mine, a woman in
What do you see?
Pretty steep, huh?
Yes.
And very weird the way it's like,
Yes. That's what I'm thinking. This is very steep and this is a long rise. A long run, I guess. This is not so unusual.
really?
No, this is exactly what it looks like in my house. It's a death trap. It's not a joke, but that's on my secondary stair. That's why I'm wondering if something had happened with this staircase because this run is very long for a front stair.
Yes, this is a long run.
So
Oh,
over
yeah,
here's
you know
a,
what, the height,
an apartment and then over here's a big room.
the height of
You might want to do
the
this one first.
is odd.
They're very tall.
Very, very. Even all this-
Well, you know how, and you guys thought it was 3, right? Because over there, I told you there was like a little half story, like a little garrison up there. And these are all just full height plus.
Yeah, it's odd.
Was this at one point scheduled as 4? How did I get so?
It went back and forth, yeah, I don't know, it was gonna be 3 or 4.
Do I put, glass? Yeah.
I miss being in this building.
I love this room. I think it's so cool. And I've never been up here until our last meeting. Oh, really? Doing like collections type stuff? Yeah.
I love this little patio.
Yeah.
On this side.
Oh,
I was a contractor.
all right, let's go, I want to see the guy.
And you can
All right,
go
well, let's make sure we get
Yeah,
more of this
before-
on the second floor.
Yeah, but look, we're not gonna get any clues.
That's the
More
attic.
clues.
This is one,
This is the only, yeah.
the only entrance to the attic.
No, that weird stairs.
Yeah, because it takes you to another part with stairs.
Yeah, yeah. And again,
What's that?
you know, being 2 or 3 separate buildings.
This is the back stair. This is the back stair in my house. I filled it in.
Really?
I did. I filled it in.
Good.
It's a temporary fill, and I put a cover over it because it's very dangerous. Because the attic stairs would come out, and then if
Yeah.
it's too deep, you can miss.
Yep.
What's that, night?
You'd hit the wall, and then
Oh,
you'd tumble down the
Stay
stairs.
off. This? Strange.
Well, this has turned into, I mean, when I was a kid, there were at least one family, possibly 2, that lived here. This is their kitchen back then.
Yeah, it was something that a lot of historical societies did when they owned properties, is they would have a tenant, at least in one part, because it was very complicated costs and everything. And it's really kind of gone away for whatever reasons, insurances or something. But I will say that we just met with the Weathersfield Historical Society on one of their historic properties, which is really just an absolutely lovely home right on the main street. They have a tenant on the second floor, and it takes care of
It's good to have
their
someone
insurance
there.
payments,
Yeah.
their utility payments,
Yeah.
And someone's there.
and someone is there,
Also,
which is awesome.
insurance is less if it's the building is occupied.
Yeah.
So it makes a big difference.
Okay.
It is the Herbert Dunham, right?
Yep. The one. Hobart. So many.
I know. Nooks and crannies.
No, but it's fun. It's very interesting. Okay, so this is building 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think this might
Here's part of the attic.
Got more sort of
There
travel.
was more back here, so figuring out
Yes.
this is actually, there are actually 4 buildings that are here. I mean, we figured when we go up in the attic, it looks like this was a separate building. I
Yes.
can show you when we get up there, this is the joint. So this halfway room has been out of the street. When you get down there, Todd, could you shut that door to the basement?
It's this door right here?
Yeah.
It's
hard-
shut.
Oh, did you get it?
I think Marty got it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You can't see much of the structure of the roof here.
I know. Todd picked up a few on his back.
That's all right.
We wait until
Yeah, we clean it off.
there's no point in cleaning it halfway through. Yeah, take a look at this. And there's something here, this wall.
Oh my God, look at that.
house vehicles, you can see. The whole place is like, wow, like, they just come in.
Oh, they did.
To the chimney.
Look at
Oh my
that.
God. Mhm.
The sheathing, the exterior sheathing is right there.
What do you think?
Exterior sheathing?
So that's over the little storage room.
Mm-hmm.
I never noticed that hole myself.
Yeah, because I was thinking this post,
Or post.
yeah, has to be. And the sheathing definitely points to that too.
So what is that telling you about, like, the end of this building here and
Was
there's
like-
that
That was
section
the
right
end.
here?
That's
And it
something.
also makes sense because of the
Mm-hmm.
chimney.
And then you have over here, where you have these two posts go into that beam. So there's two posts going into that beam. That's an English joint, which is, you know, an older, you know, you still see it in 1830 for sure. It's by 1830s is when you kind of see different construction techniques for timber frame. And that is, you know, certainly generally, an 18th century joint. So the 1799 fits to it, you know, it could be, you know, whatever, 18, you know, there's always, you know, 10 years
Yeah.
of swing. And we're in Kent, so
I was just about
There's
to say,
probably-
we are in the Northwest Hills, which is the last or second to the last of the area of Connecticut to be
Yeah.
developed. So there are some traditional building techniques that carry on later than you would see in other regions.
And they were, the people who built these were descendants of people who were moving from
Yeah.
Windsor, Weathersfield.
yeah, and
Colchester.
so the Swifts came here. How long were they? So you said 1800 is kind of the
The
date. of-
Swifts came here in the very beginning. I don't know exactly where they lived, but they were here early on, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, they use building techniques from, you know, across the water when they first got here.
Well, they
and
know.
and those techniques developed over time. Do you still see the remnants
Owners
of
came
the?
from Colchester, Connecticut. There were a lot of people from Colchester. Some of them actually came from the Cape, but they weren't coming
Directly
literally.
from-
They weren't, you know, they'd been on in the colonies.
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah, so
Years
they
or so.
had been in the
Yeah,
colonies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got over here.
So you're thinking that this is the end of this building and not?
Well, so if you stick your head in here,
Actually, everybody would like to take a look.
If you see over there, you can see remnants of early sheathing,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see how they fit together. And if you take a look right here, you can see
right
the
here.
the sheathing.
Yeah.
So that was an exterior wall.
Clue.
Oh, got another clue over here. You guys are like the house detectives.
Fast and Furious.
We have to go back downstairs and take a look.
So do you think this was a separate structure there?
No, the small storage space, I don't actually, because the roof framing continues.
Generally, when we see exterior posts and beams,
Okay.
Yeah, and there's
of a
another one that
time.
matches.
like that one, it makes me think that that's, you know, pre-1830 anyway. But then what this is a square rule constructed timber frame connection, which is a little later. And it's also the same over here,
Ooh, never been here.
which is also, you know, there's no evidence of scribe rule construction.
No.
No, I haven't seen any of it. So we usually look for Roman numeral marriage marks.
Right.
To help us date, because, you know, there's this watershed moment around 1830s in Connecticut. It's as early as 1811 in Weathersfield, but around 1830-ish is kind of more broadly. But you have, where you have interchangeable mortise and tenon. Like they'll build, you know, three that are the same, so if there's, you know, somebody screws it up, it's not gonna start, you don't have to start over. Whereas prior to that, each mortise and tenon would only fit into its mate, right? So they'd have mirrored, you know, they'd scribe them. So it'd be like, you'd see this, you know, Roman numeral 1 here, or 2 here, and 2 here. And you know, when they build it, they put it all together, and then you know, they put this, moved to the site, and then when they raise it, they know where each part goes. 1830s, you start seeing standardization of that timber frame construction, so all the mortise and tendons are standardized. These two look like they're standardized. That one there does not, so that's a conundrum, because this is all apart, and this is a single
And it
beam
wouldn't,
goes all the way across.
it wouldn't be numbered above.
It would be, yeah, it would be
It
irregular.
would be right there.
Or it could be on the other side, right? It could be on the outside, so we don't see it.
You're saying the numerals are earlier or later?
Earlier.
That's because have you ever been to our house, our Museum Seven Hearts?
Not in a long time.
Because there's the Roman numerals. in
Yeah,
there.
so I mean, that tells you usually you're pre-1830.
Okay.
Well, so, I mean, this
The
is,
beam carries all the way over.
so I know, the same thing for this one. That beam carries all the way.
Could they have put anything? When they
When
attached
they-
it,
when
when they
they-
joined the houses, could they have?
So what do they just move the fireplaces and some of the floors?
No, I don't think they moved the fireplace.
But this, so would this have been on the wall of the building?
Well, that's why we're having a problem, right? Because if we're looking downstairs, downstairs we're seeing, right, we're standing over the main fireplace, main cooking fireplace, and then the other side we have our other fireplace. So our main cooking fireplace would be here.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're not even in the attic yet. Oh, we're inside the attic.
Newsletter.
No. No clues.
You've had a few. You've had a few here.
While this is fresh in your mind, let's go up to the other attic, because that might help you ease.
Okay.
Yeah, right. What is that? Sunshine.
Floor.
Big one. Big infill.
I guess it's going to be further that way.
The lights off. Put LEDs in. Should put LEDs in. Oh, he didn't come up here, did he?
Yeah, we did. One of the times.
Breaking glass. Stick a camera down there.
Yeah, they have, you can get quotes.
We did a broad scope up at Seven Hearts once, and we need
Yeah.
to see something. Yeah. Helped us find the site of the fur trading post in Seven Hearts.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's a, again, it looks near rural construction, which is, but it's also a complicated joint. Like it's overcomplicated. There's easier ways to do it. Which makes me think it's older, right? Because they didn't use the fancy techniques in the 19th century to make their joints. They used whatever they knew.
Todd, do you have an opinion as to whether you think these rafters are adequate for the roof?
Oh, no.
No opinion?
No opinion. No, I mean, if they're sound, you know, I would say absolutely, but I would get a structural engineer. You know, I'm an architectural historian. We always bring structural engineers in. But that said, I don't, you know, I didn't see any evidence downstairs anywhere of significant water infiltration for the roof, which means they're probably.
The roof is new.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's new, it's all new plywood
Yeah.
and water and ice
Yeah,
shield
right there, yeah.
fence.
Yeah, I mean, I would have I mean, there's some of these, you know, this is a pretty wide space right here. So, I mean, I would have a structural engineer look at it.
Maybe they should sister that.
Well, no.
No,
Oh, that's a good question, yeah. It looks like it, yeah, there you go.
Does
That's
it
a good
continue
point.
all the way?
No.
No, it ends right here. It terminates right here.
Right, so here is a natural break
Okay.
with two different periods of wood, right? We have hand hewn, sawn.
Oh, wow.
So you have a break here. So
And here,
what's,
join.
and two different sets of joints, well, I'm gonna go there in a second, but what's this right here downstairs on the first floor? What wall is this
That's
one?
into our, that's where we walked into where the main door is, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the big
Front
one
door.
where they're.
Oh, right, so
front
there was
door.
a change in, there was a
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
in level, so
And
that's
this-
definitely two different buildings.
And I believe this is where, I didn't know, how many did you get myself turned around?
Yeah.
This is where that door had been taken out.
Now,
the
yes,
walls are-
yes,
is right
over
here.
here.
Yeah, over here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sorry, Glenn, I didn't mean to- yeah, different plan.
Did they nail that together to hold the post together?
This right here?
Yeah.
And, you know, a little bit, looks like that, I wanna get into the side of it.
Perfect.
I'm not gonna do it.
I should have brought a forest scope.
Well, oh, come on.
I should start bringing one from now on. They're very easy to bring. The little ones you just plug into your phone now.
Yeah.
Should have just brought a forest scope.
Yeah, you should.
Alright.
Next time, bring one.
Well, as you said, I
You're welcome
usually
to come
pay
back.
attention to the basement.
These are sod.
So he'll be able to tell you.
Unless they had to have.
What's that?
You said it showed signs of sawn here, although I see him right here.
Yeah, but it's, yeah, I mean, yeah, so these are generally,
Period,
so, yeah, but clearly right here is where you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Like, these definitely are different periods. You know, this is sawn, that's,
So this,
this is
Because
older.
there's different types of saws, right?
Yeah.
So like the saw that you're talking about is it's not the cylindrical saw, it's the.
Back and forth, well, I don't know, I don't see any kerf marks. It's pretty smooth.
Yeah, so it's.
I mean,
what do
usually
they
you
call it,
see
reciprocal saw?
some level, I mean, in any kind of saw, like here, see, these are kerf marks. See how they're regular marks that go across, but that's a saw going. You know, in a circular saw, probably.
So what's interesting here is we have, as we move further out,
Put a Z over there? Yeah, but these are all, I mean, they might be. Those are, the older ones are definitely, yeah, they might put more effort into making them regular, whereas they're like, okay, we know what width we want for what we're comfortable for strength. As soon as we get close, we're putting it up. We might have had more clearance,
We are estimating.
or they might have gotten it from another mill. It is interesting that ridge board or beam is generally an older kind of technique, but you have a lot of chemicals. I mean, I think
Not that it's bad.
no, not
We
but no.
should
I
say
mean,
it just brings up more questions, and it really speaks to one of the things that makes historic properties, each one unique, and what makes them so special is that they are a reflection of the community in which they sit. So this is a reflection of the knowledge and workmanship and technique of the community that was in Kent at that time.
Yeah.
So it's something very special, so when we say, oh, this is a conundrum, it's because
not a bad thing.
no, it's very interesting.
we as historians, we want to know the truth, right? So we're always trying to get the answers. Sometimes there's no answers, but that's why I say that. So don't think it's a bad thing.
Straight up passion board.
Good.
Siding is exposed up here, and gable ends.
Yeah, I was just looking and said, oh, that's the passion board. There it is.
All right.
All right.
May help prove to why the paint's peeling on the outside.
Well, could be, or it could be the type of paint. Could be, I don't know what type of paint you guys use for the surface prep or things like that. Yeah, this joint, right? And then
So-
it occurs several times.
Yeah, what's interesting here is that you have not only, your rafters,
The pegs.
but the manner in which they're pegged. Same thing for the corner pegs too. They're all pegged from the outside, which I'm not sure if that's an oddity or not. Usually when I see pegs, I see them from the inside, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to have to ask a colleague at Preservation Connecticut. Chris Wiegren?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's good.
he's been to seminars 2 or 3 times.
But this is.
I don't know if he's coming here.
Well, because we have this cross bracing here, and it occurs
Couple,
here
yeah,
and a couple times
yeah,
down.
down there.
Yeah, because there are only 2 on most of the rafters.
Yeah.
I'm not really.
I'm just not sure which direction the pegs go in for houses.
Yeah, hey, can you move your hand for a second?
Yeah, right.
I just want to get the whole cross bracing.
Yeah.
Jabez Swift, who I don't think was the builder, I think he was a cousin of the builder, came from Barnstable. I'm looking at my Swift family tree on Ancestry, trying to find Reuben. I don't know if that gives you any clues or not to know where they came from, but probably not. Okay.
Do we know if Tim went up here?
I don't know. I would,
Okay.
but I don't have to tell you what. Did the roof
Well, I'm not sure he did come up here because he was questioning whether the roof that was put on 2 years ago was put on top of old plywood.
Yeah.
And I said, if you go upstairs, the one thing that roofing guys didn't do well is clean up after themselves. But you can see that that's new plywood.
Sure looks new.
Oh, it is. I mean, they removed all the plywood. They put all new plywood, ice and water seal, and,
So what I'm thinking is that potentially when they move the barn,
Oh, this is a new chimney.
I mean the house, chimney locations are all so funny.
the chimney was replaced.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
they
the
did.
location is the
Is
same.
yeah.
I mean, this is the location of the other one.
Well, but here,
Right, but I mean, I mean, they didn't cut it. This was,
No, that's
this was where it was.
I mean, does that feel?
But, no, it's hard to say. I mean, these are curved marks on there. I mean, you know, they're,
But that could be.
but I'm thinking, because the other ones, I wanna say it's contemporary because of the technique, but the cut of the wood is different. And then maybe they just ended up.
Or it could have been. I mean, if they were. Yeah, I mean, it could have been just the type of lumber that they had
But what's up with the placement of the chimney?
to, you know, where it should
I
be
mean,
sitting.
where it is on the footprint of
So in the footprint of the house, I believe this chimney, you are,
both for the basement, weren't both chimneys on either side of the walls?
remember there was a crawl space. There's a crawl space.
Oh, this is over the top, okay.
We have the crawl space, you know, that's why I said, you know, when they punched through it, it was odd. I mean, oh, thank you. It's still odd. I'll clean it up later. Thank you. It's still odd because we have one main fireplace.
But it's contemporary to the 1800-ish date, right? All this stuff happened then.
You think that that's what happened then? You think when they joined the two houses?
I think when they
did
joined the two houses,
substantially-
they either they had both roofs were this similar and moved them together, which I find
But they did
a
join.
little
But
unlikely.
they did join them together.
I know, but the
You can-
pitch
they
is
are
exactly
joined.
the same.
But they are joined.
I know.
So what I will say is my thinking right now is I think these two were joined together at an earlier date, and this is the house that was on the site, and
And they
that
moved
one
that
gets
one over.
moved here, and that's when they make a full dugout basement.
Right.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
That jives with what other people
Oh,
have said,
yeah.
Okay.
that this really was the original.
But I do think that
Mhm.
is the oldest.
Okay,
That I think is
Okay.
just because of the height,
Yeah.
because of the garrison that's upstairs,
Yeah.
because of the arrangement of the rooms, because of that very narrow staircase.
Yeah. that
That's my
makes
thought.
total sense.
And then I think that once we are joined, we have a new front entry here,
Mhm.
and that is why what would have been more of a turned staircase, that's why that height gets,
Uh-huh.
I think they redid the staircases.
And the height of those rooms are still weird to me. The height of the main room, which is this room,
It's
right?
like we're playing a game of Clue.
But I mean, that period of time, you're not having those big ceilings.
Right,
No.
You
no,
know,
you're
you're
not. Most
just-
of the
it's
houses
not.
around here are small.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
the rooms are small.
Yeah, so, either they, were, I think you said, they're very tall.
This was too tall.
This was for tall. Or it was later and they wanted more room. So after 1800 on the street, is there there's nothing else for, yeah, I got here. Me too. If you find anything, I'd like to know.
I mean, I
You,
think,
yeah, you did send us a history of this
and that's
house.
pretty much all we know.
That's pretty much all we
Okay.
do.
Okay, maybe
Yeah,
it's
we'll
not-
take
we
a
can
look at
take a
it.
look.
So, which one do you believe is, well, the oldest is back there?
Yes.
But of these two?
I think this one
This
was here.
one.
This was
I think
here.
these two, I
That
think
makes sense.
this
If
is
we built a
actually
small house
probably our
first,
first
Yeah.
house.
Then
Then I think
maybe
they
worked on
build,
this, building
yes,
it
Expanded
they
up.
build a
this
larger
out.
expansion here, and then I think they moved that one and they joined the two together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
That
where we
makes
get the
sense.
large basement downstairs.
Yeah. And it kind of, I'm thinking that it was the children of the original builder who did the combining.
Mhm.
Because the property was left to, I think, 2 or 3 brothers, I can't remember. I think I finally got the tree here, but, yeah, that makes total sense.
So, Maria, does all this information change your estimation of NR compared to SR eligibility, state register versus national register eligibility?
Like I said, I'm perfectly comfortable with SR. I think since we have a good historical narrative
when it comes to, you know, the Swifts are an early family here.
Mhm.
I think we probably have a comfortable argument both for settlement,
Mhm.
and then I think we actually, I'm not gonna give a definitive for architecture because what we have is a
Mhm.
consortium.
Mhm.
I find it fascinating, but as far as an example of a type, that's something that the National Register coordinator and I will have a discussion with.
You know what might be fun to find out, because the Swifts were in the whole northwest corner, they're up in Cornwall. It wouldn't be so cool to get into other houses. if
That
they
would be
built.
lovely. If they are privately owned, we'd have to get some,
Well, I
get
know.
some encouraging, or encourage homeowners. But yes, and so as far as, back to our original
Yeah,
conversation,
very
if we
cool.
want to make our way downstairs, so we can continue to discuss here. And as far as, funding and, listening, I'm perfectly comfortable with listening. That's fine. You only need to be listed on the state register.
No, just.
He doesn't wanna leave the attic.
His favorite place, right?
That is his choice.
National Register might help just psychologically protect it even more.
I'm sure you
Does it-
noticed that
does
there's
it help with the
light
end?
out here.
Like National Park Service or the Humanities Grant?
You can't see right there?
I don't know. I don't know.
I would think it would.
They could answer that better.
Huh?
I mean, it wouldn't prevent anybody from tearing the house down, but if somebody wants to buy it and they see that it's something on the National Register, or even the state register, it just makes them respect it a little more. Financially, I don't know.
Well, I was looking at this angle, I mean, there's one more than. But Which is odd, just curious.
No, it's not,
Yeah.
Well, actually, these joints only appear, close to, actually, on the other side of it, you see where we have those braces. Now, these only appear,
Perfect times, right?
yeah, but here and here, right at the end,
Yeah.
right at the end of where the L, the mass would be.
Mhm.
So it's only here and it's only
And on the
there,
other side.
and we don't even have it on this side, so
Right.
we only have it on this side.
Right.
I'm sure you noticed that there's daylight under the
Yes.
pergola here.
Thank you.
Is it better to have that vented, or should that?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, I would just make sure that,
They're under the eaves, so.
So one of the things that, we can talk about is when you bring the building back in service, is really what you're going to use the building for, and then how you treat it when it comes to things like whether or not there's, you have, a lot of open ventilation, whether you have directed vents.
yeah, that stuff matters depending on the use, because you don't want ice damming. So you want to just be careful, and your architect should be able to give you the advice on, depending on what, what use you determine you want to use it, how much is going to be heated, whether it's going to be heated, Four Seasons, obviously, it's not heated up there. So it's okay to have the east, it keeps it all
Got a
one.
lot of it.
Yeah, so, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you were going to start making some significant changes, start heating some of it, then you want it to be buttoned up. You don't want openings if you have a heated space up there. And it depends on what your architect's doing.
That would never, I don't think that would.
Probably not, but, yeah, are we going down this way?
Is everybody out?
Yeah.
Chimney makes sense.
Chimney makes sense.
Chimney makes
If you're-
sense.
yeah, 'cause this
Because
is-
that's the end of the house, right there, where we're lunch sitting.
Oh,
There's
really?
our chimney, this is where we're standing. But again, if we're talking about the layout of a house, this is our main, this is our big one. There's our stair. And then
Oh,
It isn't
there's
a
the
stair
original
anymore.
stair upstairs.
Yeah, that narrow little door that was a stair, it's got Emily Hobson slides in there that are maybe far
Huh?
away.
Is it what?
Where's the front door? My thought, where's the front door? That's
Front
so.
door's over
No, that's the front door when everything's joined together.
there. Right.
I don't think it was always the front door. Not this. This is it.
All right, so this is, so right here is where we have the change in timber frames, with the new side being that side, right? No, this side. What side's the new side, Maria?
Sorry?
This side, right?
No,
Or that
the
side?
new
That's,
side.
that's.
I'm
the
sorry, I
side.
get turned
Yeah,
on.
this was the older side.
Yeah.
This is the other side.
Yes.
Right.
And
Well,
that would have been the
yes.
original stairway,
Yes.
and that one would be new.
Well, could there have been a door there that they changed to windows when they joined the two houses?
Well, because that's what I'm, you know, in my mind right now, I'm thinking if we're talking about a layout of this small space, but remember, this is an add-on.
Yeah, right?
So if this is our original house,
Right, so the oldest
This
porch here
is-
is there. So that makes sense for
this
that.
is our door.
Then they
This is our
expanded,
main door.
You're saying these are two separate pieces here?
right here, yeah, this and this.
This.
Right, that's, okay, yeah.
So
that
this
makes
is the
sense.
line right here between,
Because
Oldest
this would be your
here.
main room. This is where all your cooking is.
right?
That's
And-
your main
and-
room,
and-
and the door is right here.
And the configuration of this fireplace, except for those funky extra vents,
Yes.
matches to older than this.
So down in the
This looks
basement, is
newer.
this correlating? Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense, because you've got the, that's cool. You've got the bulkhead. Remember that place you were wondering if it was the original attic? There's the modern bulkhead there.
And then here, it's
Right here.
It's right here.
Yeah.
It's right here.
The entrance to the attic would have been right here. I mean, to the basement, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Isn't this exciting?
That's the
Very
oldest door.
exciting.
That's what, this is the door. This is, because this was the original door for this
So all
section.
more reason
and
they
the
don't
attic.
want to put the handicap ramp there.
Well, no, I'm not sure I agree. Because, I mean,
Let's take a walk. Well, we actually have to walk around.
These guys are like kids in a candy store, you know, it's like, oh, this, that.
we have an opportunity. I mean, it's a high porch, there's the ramp.
Well, that's a Pepsi.
My umbrella.
The windows.
Uh-oh.
It was a huge
It could, it was windy though while we were in there.
If you can get to here, no problem, but get on the porch. Now, and you could do a double, so you'd have one here, and then a single, a little one right there, so there's a way to do it. Touch Sally can tell you all about that.
A
You say,
little
hey, what
one,
about maybe
a little
putting
one at
lula
the
here?
door, you mean?
But it just makes it, a little complicated, because this isn't historic. So mucking this up to make it work for ADA could be the solution. You know, this height, you're gonna have such a long switchback that it's not, because then you lose your yard, or you have to wrap it around the house, you have it in the front,
Yeah,
you know.
they did not give that as an option to
They
us.
did not give that.
What, the Lula?
Yeah,
They did not.
they
Yeah.
did not even mention that.
Well, I mean, they probably looked at the threshold and be like, and forget it, because you'd have to have, you'd be able to get this to this level pretty easily, but getting through the threshold, you have to have another one, which would have to be flush with the ground and then come up. It's cost money.
Can you raise the level of the porch so that you don't have it?
Well, I mean, it's not historic. I mean, you could,
Maybe easier than
that's
it
probably
is to live.
easier, but then you have, you try to add, yeah, you can add.
So the porch itself is not historic.
I don't get an idea.
Doesn't look at you.
I saw an idea.
See what the structure of the photo. Yeah, that would be sure.
Dan's umbrella.
It caught the wind and took off.
Thought to leave it open.
Yeah, you thought, no.
Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Ray, what do you
took-
think about raising up, when you do a new porch, raise it up to the threshold?
to meet the threshold?
Yeah. Then you only have to have one ruler there and you go
And then you can, in fact, there was an option for that back door, which you haven't seen yet, but
Oh,
to
yeah.
Todd's point, earlier, we do try to, it's always good to avoid, making an ADA entrance heating the back, the ideal is for that wherever anybody enters.
The main entry should be shared.
But traditionally that's the way people go in.
Right,
They don't
well,
even go through the front
yeah,
door.
right.
They go through there.
100%, which makes it even better.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It would make it even better when you
Yeah.
talk about ADA.
Yeah, they go.
And you don't want to mess with, you don't want to put it, because
Yeah, because this is all a dressed stone foundation, the other one isn't.
Oh, you're right. Foundation is just, how far does it go around?
All the way,
Aha, another
all
clue.
the way, all the way, and they all share the same returning, they all share the same returning gables.
I was thinking
returning
at
quarters.
1800, when they joined them all together, they did a lot of, they brought what they could, and then they standardized what they couldn't.
I'm thinking at that time, this entire facade is redone.
Yeah.
And it's done. The only, with all of it, she's saying it goes straight around all the way around.
They're saying that they try to tie it all together.
I mean, was it the stone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. That was the original stairs.
Oh, the stairs,
Stairs
Yeah.
up.
stairs.
Alright, so that makes sense. Wow, what a great house. What a great house. Wow. Gosh, I mean,
I'm glad you're impressed.
it's just it's very cool. Okay.
All right, so a lot of these questions, but we'll take a look at what you sent. Yeah, we're going to go around.
Okay.
All right, let's go
Yeah.
around first, I guess. Right?
Probably easier this way.
Yeah,
Oh, it'll be- okay.
We lost them.
This is hard recording.
I know.
Although there is an
Yeah.
this is later, just when we have our next whatever.
She's got it, because she was gonna scan it. Marina, we have a scrapbook that is temporarily in the selectman's office of the repair work that was done when the town bought this in the 70s.
Oh, that would be lovely.
So I don't know.
Very helpful.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, no, I want to look here to see what's in there. Okay, and then this is also part of the right, so this is the addition. This is main block. Still main block, even though the mortar's different.
You think this is
I don't know.
block?
I don't
Because
know.
I know that this is tied into the roof upstairs. You saw that. This is that piece where you
That's
stuck
where I
your
stuck my
head
head
through.
in.
Yeah.
Right. And that looked old. But, and it's got the non-dressed field stone, but so does that over here. It only starts getting dressed over here. But this is the back. They probably said forget it, we're not going to worry about it. Now this is the bulkhead. This is the original bulk area, right?
Yeah,
Is
you
it
can
right
see,
here?
see where it builds up.
Yeah,
It's right there.
yeah,
And you can also see here with the corners.
yeah. That's the point. You see the trim on the bottom of the page.
Yeah, look at that.
What are we looking at here?
That looks like a
This is it too. This is all.
Yeah.
Compare, I mean, you can see,
That probably
you
was
can
done in
see,
the
you
70s.
know, this is
Yeah,
older.
yeah. Yeah, windows are kind of worked on in various repeating some.
But I mean, if you were gonna try to do ADA back here, obviously you'd have to come all the way back here. I mean, someone had said something about raising the depth, or the ground level, so it's flat, that's something you could do.
That's what Petrocelli.
Yeah, that was, because he was saying no handrail to go in there.
So somebody said, and come go and see.
Said 20 inches.
20 by, 1 by 20.
Yeah, I mean, either way, because I think if you
But that's
blow
a
out that
straight
wall, you can have access to both
Yeah,
sides.
yeah.
You know, this you'd have to rent a little bit of a incline.
You're thinking upping the grade here?
Well, you could. I mean,
No,
I would.
you
I would-
could.
I
I am a little, you'd have to come up with a drainage plan as part of it.
Yeah.
Because you're already getting water in.
Yeah.
Drainage around here.
Right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'd have to come up with a drainage plan.
I mean, in terms of cost, it's probably cheaper to do
You would-
that.
That's what this is.
Yeah. Because a Lula, I think, is like 60 grand or something like that.
60,000?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
For it installed and ready.
This
I mean, it
electric all
depends.
Well, the
Yeah,
other
look
was
at-
400, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at one. I looked at one. It was like 60 grand. It was a much higher one though. It was like almost a full story up. So maybe it's less. I don't know. But yeah, you could do that. Now, did someone? What did you say about the handrails? You'd have to have handrails. On both
Not
sides.
on this one.
Not on this one.
Not on this one. He said it
With
would,
just a 5 foot with no handrails.
yeah. It would come really far out, you know.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that's fine. And then I guess, and you do have. I mean, you could do that because it's just great. You can bring
Yeah, we would have a,
ADA all the way.
yeah,
to
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So I mean, you could actually do that with money, you know, and have a straight shot.
Yeah, that was his plan.
That's not a bad plan.
Yeah.
Because really, as you say, you know, the main entry really is a side entry,
Yeah.
so you're not really in the back. But the A side is that side, and this is the back side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're looking at it architecturally, so you know, the U side is a little different, right? Because you use that side as your main entry. Nobody comes in through that front door. But
Well, a few people do, but
Yeah.
it's definitely like 90% of the people come through the side
Right.
door.
And then you know, when you get to that next step of use, right? You know, you're going to want to be using this on a regular basis for certain things, community space, you know, office space, or whatever you're going to be using it for. Depending on the use and how often it's going to be used, should give you some idea of you know, if it's going to be a community room that's used, you know, 4 nights a week or 5 nights a week, and you want, you know, when someone ADA is going to want to be able to have access, you know, that may, you know, make a decision on how you want to do it. If someone's going to be here once a month, you know, you have to think, you know, not return on investment, but, you know, return on use. And if you're going to spend $60,000 on a Lula, I mean, and that means a new porch, right? Because you have to raise the porch to get up to the threshold. I mean, that's a significant
Yeah.
thing. This is going to be so.
I will say that if you're not sure, you know you want it to be open, right? But you're not quite sure exactly what sort of activities you could do here, or what offices or spaces this could serve. We do have a survey and planning grant. It's a 1-to-1 match, but basically it can be used to do things like feasibility studies, where they can do, you know, what this could be and what that would look like and what sort of really general cost estimates that would be in order to achieve that. You can also sponsor things like, you could use it to pay for things like a community charrette, where the community comes together. You get
Like a focus
Cash
group.
match?
it's cash. It's a 1-to-1. It's 1-to-1 and it's reimbursable. So it's up
You
to,
did do a survey.
you did do a survey.
We
Yeah.
did do
Okay.
a survey.
But charrette, is that like a focus group?
It's kind of like a focus
Yeah.
group, but it's, you know, it's larger, and then there's
it's mediated
Yes.
and it's, you know, they do analysis of everybody's answers, you know what I mean?
Oh, I
So
like
you
that.
really get the community input.
I like
And
that.
really, you know, it's sorted well and
Let's go back up.
they ask the right questions.
Yeah.
You know, those,
yeah.
that's always the challenge. You know, I kind of go back and forth with this as ADA.
Do you?
I mean, it's going to be more expensive there, but that's the better option.
Mm.
But at this point, you know, our office isn't giving you money to help pay for this. So let's see what those guys come up with.
So I looked at your website and it looks like the grants really open up in like July again.
Yeah,
Is
but
that-
you can start applying now.
Ah.
I mean, it's a survey and plan, the HRF are yearly anyway.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, you're not going to be applying till what, October's the next round for capital, Marina?
Yes.
Something like that?
It would be helpful to start planning your applications now, because
Yeah.
if you may have noticed from our website, we are oversubscribed. You know, our programs are very in demand, and so we were oversubscribed, and so the actual grant giving out is not going to start for soft costs or survey and plannings until July, and then the capital one is now running on a yearly basis. And that process, I believe, begins in October, but you can double check the website. But if you guys are planning ahead of time, it's a good idea to get your applications kind of your ducks in a row. You could reach out to the grant coordinator, say this is what we're thinking. You know, we understand. You know, you have an anticipated grant giving in July. You know, this is what we're thinking. Your thoughts, and so.
If we were to apply, there's a planning grant, is there?
Yeah, so it's called a
Because-
survey and plan grant. We can send you the
Yeah.
info, but
Because we're doing this preliminary work now with Silver Petrocelli,
Mhm.
and they've given us a couple of options for floor plans and things. But to actually do the work, they're gonna actually do working
Yeah.
drawings.
Yes,
so you
and
can,
so
you can apply
that
for.
can also
So
pay.
that's-
That can
okay.
also pay for design documents and
Okay.
construction documents.
So I mean, but you would probably want to do, if you're thinking about doing a charrette, do that one first, because A, it's a lot cheaper, you know, it's like $5 or $10 or whatever it is. And get that information first before you make a determination on what you want, you know, the architects to do.
Is there a description of what could be included in this charrette process?
Absolutely. There's also examples of things that have been completed. You know, the grants. You know, they write a final report, and so there are examples that the grant. Her name is Mary Dunn. So what I'll do is in a follow up. I have Glenn's emails. What I'll do is I'll do a follow up to Glenn with those hyperlinks, and I'll also introduce you to Mary Dunn via
Yeah, thank
email,
you.
and that way you guys can just kind of get rolling if that's what you want to do.
Okay. And if you could copy me on that stuff too, but, yeah.
All right, so maybe Glenn, if you want to send everybody's email to Marina now, and then
Yeah.
when she responds, she'll just respond to all of
Okay,
it.
great, great.
I'm gonna look back at my files too. I think I started working with Mary eons ago before this war memorial was put out here, because we
Mhm.
wanted to get on the state register.
Yeah.
The what?
Veterans.
Veterans Memorial, but we just figured once that was put here, nobody's gonna wanna buy this house with the memorial there, but then we found out this could be separated and sold off to somewhere, or that could be moved, so, but I think Mary's, been where is that moment?
Well, listen, I
So
love the
happy it's
idea
finally
of, you
happening.
know, this as a community space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
think, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a million options, and
Yeah.
charrette will help you decide that too.
Well, I mean, this is what it's been
Yeah.
for like the last 20 years,
That's what it was
probably.
for. I mean, Emily first
until-
bought it to keep it from
Yeah.
having it torn down, and then she realized this would be.
But it's
really,
been
really
used
good
for
community
everything,
center.
you know, as Marge
Yeah.
said, the Historical Society had their offices there for years.
Mhm.
Now it's the office of the Chamber of Commerce, and depending upon who the president is, they use it one way or another.
Sure.
But there was meditation groups that met here.
And there
was
were,
all
you
sorts
know,
of stuff, family
lots of
reunions.
community
Yeah,
groups.
and the
Yeah.
Historical Society has had exhibitions here
Yeah.
of, you know, I worked on a couple of them.
Yeah,
That's a-
and there's other, and in fact, I would share Good to Great with these guys.
Yeah, I think actually, you know, one of the things I was going
Good
to
to
check.
great would be great.
Good to
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
There's no definitive timeline for when that one's rolling
Yeah.
out, but there
Yeah.
is funding
Yeah.
so they anticipate having more rounds.
Mhm.
I am going to double check and see if Kent is a community that's eligible to apply for the community investment fund.
I happen to have it.
Thank you. Because this is, you know, before I say how nice it is.
Yeah,
this
why don't you
is-
wait, let me
this
just
is-
check downloaded documents.
Yeah, please just check and see if it's a community. Because it's a community space and, you know, I mean, having something that, you know, you're making an investment in for the community is something that, you know, obviously, you know, those are the types of projects that they like to see.
No, I
Yeah.
think it is.
The town Democratic and Republican committees have had meetings and events here. We've had, you know, there's something called the Informal Society or
Club,
Club.
which is
that
folding.
met here
I wouldn't use them as an
years.
example anymore.
Right.
But they were here
I know they were,
faithfully.
yeah.
They were the ones that supplied all the tables and chairs and,
Mhm.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
the list is still in the kitchen of what you do to close down the
Yeah,
building.
yeah.
Well, another option too is, you know, bond money, your, you know, state bond. You know,
We don't do that much here in Kent.
Well, I mean,
Paying off them, but, yeah.
what's that?
We're just paying off them, but.
Well, but I mean, on
Sure.
state, you know, talk to your legislator and, you know, ask them to put a bond, because, you know, the CIF money is a bond-driven program. Just found out there's gonna be potentially another round in the future,
There could also be though, I'm also
what,
thinking,
a community challenge grant? Are they-
nope, I'm not thinking community challenge, I'm thinking the small community grants, the one that is part,
Steep.
the one that is partnered to our urban act.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, we've done Steve.
We've done steep, so steep grant, that
Mhm.
could also be, that's also another community,
Yeah, we've
That's all.
done them before.
Can any of these grants be used to match
No.
each other?
unfortunately, state funds cannot be used to match state funds. However, that being said, if you receive federal funding, so things like congressionally
Direct spending.
directed spending,
Yeah.
For
that
work-
could,
There are
for-
money
for-
that you're
for-
saying.
For workforce housing for the fire department right now.
so
But
that
we
would,
can
about-
afford housing.
Sorry, Connecticut Humanities grants,
those are private, so you could
Okay.
use
Uh,
those to match, but I don't know if they do a
but
lot of.
for municipal,
Yeah, but we
They
just wanna
don't do
make
a
sure
lot
that
of
it's not
building.
a state-funded program, because they have, I know that they've gotten money from our office.
That, and it's directed through state.
So I'm not sure if it's
Yeah, you
reallocated.
can just have to
The
clarify for
workforce,
that.
is that what you're talking about?
what's that?
Workforce housing?
No,
No.
no, we jumped over to humanities, Connecticut
But there are
Humanities.
other federally funded programs, community development block grants, you know, things like that.
Yep.
Any other sort of federal agency, those can be used to match.
Yeah.
So if you happen to have any of those, or would like to apply for some of those.
Yeah, we're applying, we have them with the CDBG partly for our affordable housing as well as our streetscape.
Okay, there you go.
So, yeah, we've already done that.
Say, hey, we want more for
Yeah,
this.
and if that project is completed and you say, hi, this is our successful project, we have another project that's very community focused, it's right next to our streetscape improvement.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Work
we all-
hand in hand.
Listen, nothing's easy, but,
No, I understand, yeah, we have others.
We have a good
qualify as well.
relationship with our senator, both of them.
Yeah.
The rep and senator.
yeah.
I'm hosting one of his fundraising events
Yeah.
in May.
The campaign.
Chris Murphy.
Oh,
Murphy.
it's,
Yeah.
you're the
That
senator.
that might be the opportunity to ask about.
Or take him on a tour, or,
Or
you
take him
know,
on.
just show, it's important that, you know, these are properties that are held in the public trust. The reason our environmental laws exist and the reason cultural resources are part of those environmental laws along with natural resources is because cultural resources are endangered species. Once they're gone, they don't come back. You know, you can create a facsimile, but it's not the same thing. So it's important that when these are held together in the public trust and these are community assets, it's important to, if you believe that, to let your representatives know.
So are there any federal funds that are available for environmental improvements, like upgrades, like putting in a heat pump
Maybe.
instead of a furnace?
I'm not sure. Do you know of any?
Well,
What's
actually,
that?
the Green Bank, Connecticut Green Bank, so we were doing a lot of ones that were for private homeowners. Connecticut Green Bank is a quasi-public agency.
Right.
I believe the governor just announced a new initiative, and I believe it was oriented towards, non-residential properties, and I think it actually may be geared more toward community. The other thing that I do want to point out is we did just hear about that other
Oh, the governor's?
That other initiative, there was just an announcement that it's being managed through the Office of Policy and Management, where it was specifically directed towards nonprofits, but it was for improvements to properties. It was for capital improvements to properties. And I believe you just saw that, right? I think it was
I
30.
see those every day.
You see, you got them every day, exactly.
First selectmen, I get all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen that, and we're pulling some of that now to look at that, but yeah, need a grant manager, we're a very small staff.
Yeah, understood.
And that is something that, yes.
Yeah, but,
And so, you know, like we said, we're here to
Right,
provide
and
technical
perspective is
assistance.
Yeah.
We're here to, you know, provide guidance on the treatment of historic properties. We do our best to you know, if there is a state program that's available, you know, to direct you to the correct person to kind of help guide you through that process. You know, maybe one more grant program would be the nonprofit security grant program. If you guys have a friends group, again, this is a town-owned property, but if you have a group or historical society that uses the building, they may be eligible to receive funds to help for improvements.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So we could partner with a nonprofit.
And then it's,
Yeah.
We had,
Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, Dennis, and
Dennis.
FEMA.
We're working on it right now.
we had conversations, which I could talk to you about later, with Chris Garrity about establishing, I mean, this is one we were trying to figure out how to manage the building without putting on a lot of extra burden on staff and make that more palatable, but we might be able to get that together.
Alright, so,
So what's the
Glenn,
next step? What do
Next
we
step,
need
you-
to do for you?
you will email me everyone's email.
Okay?
I will then email to everyone else
Mhm.
the grant opportunities as well as the determination of eligibility.
Okay.
And then I think if you'd like, we could do kind of a summary of our observations today, especially when it comes to ADA access. We can provide you those comments, and as you guys work through it with your consultant, you know, we'll go from there. Okay.
That's great.
And
Sorry?
if you could give us information about the National Registry, that would be awesome.
Oh, well, that's actually going to be
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
absolutely
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yes, that's absolutely part of it. So I'm comfortably saying it's eligible to state register, but I will respond with an opinion of National Register eligibility as well.
yeah,
Cool.
we'll chat with the National Register before they share the information we have, and she'll give us her thoughts, and if we can go that route, we will.
That's
Marina,
awesome.
what was the part that you just talked about for nonprofits, maybe being
It's a
able to
new
do
one.
buildings?
Yeah, so it's that brand new one
Yeah.
through the Office of Policy and Management.
Okay.
And then there's also a nonprofit security grant.
I'm just, now I've got my Kent Historical Society hat on.
Yeah, so nonprofit security grants.
Okay.
So that's the Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, DEMIS.
Okay, thank you.
Right, we work with John, Region 5, quite close to them.
You've got, okay.
John Field.
Okay, great.
The director, the region director of the library.
Yes, and so they were just re-upped for additional funding, so, that's a very successful program.
Okay. Thank you.
It's at the webinar.
But all of the state grants require a match.
Not all,
Most,
not all.
all of ours require.
All of
All
ours
yours.
require a match, and all of ours are
20.
reimbursable,
80-20.
1-to-1,
1-to-1.
1-to-1.
And reimbursable means,
You have to.
Front it
pay
all,
for
so
it
it's a-
upfront, and
then
then
you
they
have to get reimbursed for
when
it,
it's
right?
finished.
Yeah,
That's what scared me off last time too.
yeah.
Are there any, I know that when the community house here had a restoration, that they had to pay union scale.
That was the steep grant.
Oh, yeah.
That was a steep
They're all-
grant.
Yeah.
But they've changed some of the laws,
Because
some of the rules on that.
There
There's
really
new
aren't any
thresholds for
union
the-
Yeah,
contractors in this part of Connecticut. I mean, you know, they're perfectly happy to get more money, but they're not unionized. So,
But the prevailing wage.
But well, it only matters because it costs more to do anything than it does if you pay private.
Yeah, but they have, I mean, that was quite a few years ago,
Yeah.
because my husband was the chairman of that last group, and that was right after the firehouse was built, and that was 2008. So it's a while ago now.
Yeah.
So things have changed.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
No, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
This
That
was
great.
hugely helpful and so fun to watch you guys like checking things out.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Bye.